we are the Nima Collaborative, and a summary of our mission is to identify and execute development solutions in a culturally sustainable manner. And so we've been partnering with a community in rural Guatemala called Samosh San Lucas since 2008, and we have an in-country NGO partner called Casacito, and they've identified this engineering project within the community. So the main problem that we're working to solve is limited access to electricity for nighttime lighting. And the COCODES, which is like the community's leadership council, has asked for an alternative to using candles in the home. The importance of this problem is that it is a community identified need, and also candles are a health and safety risk for the members of the community in their homes at night. So a brief introduction to Samosh San Lucas. The community members settled together after the Guatemalan Civil War, which was a very long dispute within the country. Most of the residents speak both Quechua, which is an indigenous Mayan language, and Spanish. The education is at the center of their community, and their education system includes both an elementary and middle school. There's a main river that runs through the community, which is used daily. And the current population of the community is about 611 community members as of the spring break trip that we just went on. The main sources of income for the community are the drying and selling of cardamom, rubber from rubber trees, and then farming and selling their crops at the markets. We've been partnering with Samosh San Lucas since 2008, and Nima members have traveled there 9 times to date. We've completed 2 engineering projects there, and we're currently on our 3rd.
So currently, what they've done to try to address the nighttime lighting issue are using candles. Some community members use flashlights, and some use generators. Previous projects they have undertaken to do this is some community members make their own candles, and several years ago, before they identified this specific project to us, an NGO had come in and promised portable nighttime lighting to the entire community, but they never returned. Our research phases so far can be divided into 3 parts. The first one is the spring break and May 2013 trips to Samosh San Lucas. The second one is December 2013 to February 2014 of this year. And phase 3 was our spring break trip this past week. For the spring break and May 2013 trips, we conducted workshops with the elementary school and middle school students. This was so they can get some basic familiarity with the technological concepts of the solar light, and also maybe they would be able to go home and speak with their parents about it, just a soft introduction to the concept. We also spent time on both trips identifying the available resources in the local stores in the community, as well as in Coban, which is the nearest major city, about an hour to around 45 minutes bus ride from Samosh. We found that the local stores had flashlights and other materials that could be potentially used in a design. And we also identified an electronics store in Coban called La Fuente, which sold a lot of the basic components that we would need for a circuit. We also conducted a candle survey during the summer trip so we can have some sort of cost analysis. We'll go into that in later slides. We also observed what the light would be used for. So, for example, doing homework at night, lighting up a room in a household, going to the river at night. And moving forward, after discussing this with our NGO partner, Casacito Association, we found that we needed a physical, fully functional design to present to community members so they can conceptualize it, and also empower them to realize that their input and their feedback is crucial to whatever design we make. As opposed to bringing in concepts to them, we needed a physical, tangible, fully functional design. During our candle survey, in which we talked to predominantly shop owners because they sold these products to community members, we found that the range of candle usage was anywhere from 1 to 8 candles per night. And since these candles cost about 1 quetzal each candle, the range of annual cost per household is anywhere from 365 quetzales to 2,920 quetzales. So that means the prototype should be less than that lower cost, so less than $46.18. So the current San Nima prototype design meets our goal and is currently around $18. From December 2013 to February 2014, we created design requirements and specifications that a solar light would need to meet. We also began a partnership with an Engineering 100 section that is focused on solar technology, and they are also following these design requirements specifications. The point of this partnership is so that the Engineering 100 section will provide 12 additional designs in addition to our own designs that can be potential, that we can bring to Samosh as potential designs for them to use. And we also work on our current design, which Rachel will be speaking about further, as well as the design requirement specifications in detail.
Okay, so this is a list of the main very broad requirements that the light would need to meet. We also gave these to an NG100 section that we're partnering with this semester. So the first one is that it has to be safe, like any engineering design. We want the materials that we use to be locally sourced so that members of the community will be able to get these materials and without us having to be in country, and also to make repairs if need be. The light needs to be self-sufficient so that the community members find it easy to use, as well as affordable and durable, because the weather in Guatemala is very hot and rainy. And ideally it would be portable so that community members can use it inside and outside of their homes. So these are some more technical design specifications that we also shared with the NG100 section that we're partnering with. So like I said, it should be self-sufficient, and ideally the solar lantern would have all the components contained in one portable system that's that you can hang in your home or carry around at night. The charging time should be less than 6 hours. We need the light to provide at least 20 lux of brightness at a distance of 0.5 meters based on how much brightness a candle gives out. And it should ideally run for at least 4 hours at night. We need the light to be off while the batteries are charging, and the circuitry to be all enclosed as to make it waterproof, as well as easy to make repairs or replacements.
So this past spring break, the design we brought in country did not function as anticipated. I'll go into that a little later. And we also found that La Fuente, the electronics store in Caban that I mentioned, made their first order of all 4 models of D lights. So the self-standing lantern costs 175 quetzales, and the home installation system costs 2,000 quetzales. So that's something to note, that it's technically available in Caban. So back to our designing country, we realized that much more extensive testing is needed before we bring the design in country, so we can anticipate what can happen, and that, once again, CASA C2 approval is crucial in moving forward in whatever implementation plan we have.
So remaining questions that we would like to answer are how the stores in the community operate, their business models, and what is the markup on the candles. Also, how much money community members are willing to willing or able to put down for a solar lantern as they buy candles as needed. They're not using a huge chunk of their income at one time, like what would have to happen for a solar lantern. And also we need to figure out how to advertise the light to the community and get the idea of this technology out to the community members. Possible resources that we will need moving forward is a Kekchi translator, as the community members are much more comfortable speaking in their first language, as well as a culturally sound survey.
So after these 3 phases, our preliminary implementation plan are to take the select prototypes from the Engineering 100 section, as well as our own, into the community and test them with an initial group of community members. Then, based on their input and feedback on these designs, we'll make design modifications, also decide with them which designs work best for them. We'll work with community members as well as Casacito to understand what an implementation plan would entail and what works best. And following that, we will scale the selected prototype or prototypes and continue and scale them up so we'll have more of each and then execute that implementation plan. So the plan for the summer trip this year is to present those prototypes to Casacito for their approval and then to test them with community members to get input. That way, once again, we can empower them to realize that they are a crucial part of this entire process and that their input is integral to whatever design we create. And that way we can incorporate them into this research process. So we plan to be complete with this research phase of Gate 1 after we return from the summer trip with these selected designs and after we have worked with Casacito, local shop owners, as well as community members to create and understand an implementation plan. And we also want to explore if shop owners, the local shop owners in Samosh, would be interested in learning how to build these lights and sell them themselves. Following that, in fall, we hope to continue that scaling process. And then next year's spring break and summer trips, we will plan to incorporate education workshops on designs. And this will involve our education team, and these will be informal workshops on the basic concepts of the light and how to use it, or safety with the light. And once again, I'll be working closely with Nima's education project team, and they have built a relationship with students, teachers, and community members by the nature of their work there. And if you want to hear more about what they do and how they do it, and about the initial plans for these education workshops, they are presenting later today at 3 p.m. Potential future difficulties we anticipate are that community members, while we hope that they will be able to give their input on these solar lights, they may be apprehensive to give us their true opinion. And creating an implementation plan that is best suited for the community, because there are many pathways we could take. And that is all.
So we can take questions.
I have a question about the 12, or how many designs are coming out of the Engineering 100. So how's that working with your final design, or the design that you're going to bring when you do travel? Are you going to kind of decide here, or are you going to bring all the ideas down there and work from that? Like, how are you going to narrow them down and decide which one's best?
So we gave them design specification requirements, and we've been going into their lab sections as they're actually building them and like having a dialogue with each team, like what resource available, some of this might not be feasible, maybe we should make a modification. And we're going to evaluate based on those requirements and specifications, as well as like whether or not they're using resources that are available, and then narrow it down from there. Yeah.
But ideally, we would travel with as many prototypes as possible.
Yeah. Hopefully all 12 are great. Yeah.
So are those prototypes that you plan on bringing with you down to Guatemala? Right? The prototypes from the students? So would you be, I guess this is more logistical, but would you be shipping them or just packing them in your bags and bringing them?
Depending on how many they are. So if there's too many, then we'll probably ship them separately. But if there are like 3 to 4, we could probably pack them with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys mean by a culturally sound survey?
So the community in Samosh is like very closed off to outsiders, and only through our close partnership with our NGO have we been able to like kind of break some of the barriers and form a close relationship with the teachers and some of the leaders in the community. And so it's important to like respect their cultural boundaries, as they don't like to embrace outsiders that much.
And part of that is with the Quechua translator. We found that when we traveled with a Casacito representative who was from Coban, who could speak both Quechua and Spanish, when we were doing the candle survey, for example, we got a lot more information out of shop owners when he was with us and speaking with them in Quechua.